Now, in this particular part, which is the end part of our whole syllabus, we are going to understand about NITI Aayog. NITI means basically the full form of it was National Institution for Transforming India, right? NITI, NITI. So, what was this? This was the NITI Aayog was started in the year 2015, and it was aimed to expand and increase the role of the states, making states role more positive in collaboration with the center. So center and state should function in coordination. Then they also decided that there should be some kind of focus on decentralization of power, where center will give a lot of things in the hands of the state. And of course, they wanted this particular Niti Aayog wanted and was formed for the purpose of accelerating, speeding up the economic growth and the development of our country. So, in a way, if we have to say, Niti Aayog is nothing but the Planning Commission replaced. The name is changed of the Economic Planning Commission of India to Niti Aayog, right? So this particular Niti Aayog said that we need to have certain things achieved, and what were the pillars of this Niti Aayog, what were their actual plans ahead. They said we need some vision document of India, right? India should have a certain vision to be achieved, like becoming the third best, I mean the largest manufacturer in the whole world, first in the ranking of skill based education, and so on. So whatever could be the aim, there should be a vision document which is created. That was what the Niti Aayog said. Then appraisal document of 12th 5-year plan. So whatever was put in the 12th 5-year plan has to be brought into the Niti Aayog's plan so that it works in tandem. Then they also had certain lecture series which were put forth by the Niti Aayog. Doubling of farmers' income was another major part or the vision or the pillar of this Niti Aayog. Then they also decided that there should be some kind of outcome budget and output outcome framework. So you should have something where you can decide on or you can put forth that this should be the output of the particular industry, company, or whatever you would decide. And plus there should be also a recognition of the outcome. So what has happened because of this output, what is the outcome, is it positive, negative, why is it positive, why is it negative, and so on. Then they also decided on having a global entrepreneurship summit in 2017. So organization of a summit so that you have a better vision developed. And finally, launching program to transform identified aspirational districts. So what would be the districts that we can actually develop? So this was the understanding and this was the target of the Niti Aayog. They said, okay, Niti Aayog said, fine, these districts are somewhere where we can actually start more development programs and these can become better districts. So the whole load from the metros can be shifted to different districts, right? Now, what is the structure of this Niti Aayog? We know that there was a economic planning commission which was set up earlier, where the ex officio chairman was the prime minister, and there were various experts of different industries, different fields, which would actually be the deciding persons in that economic planning commission. Now, what is this Niti Aayog? How is it constructed? So, how is it formed? What are the different officers in it? This is what we are looking at. The first is the governing council. This is basically consisting of the governing council, meaning they were like the primary members of this particular Niti Aayog, who were the core team, you could say, in this commission. So what they were the chief ministers of all states and governors of union territories. So all chief ministers, all governors of union territories would be heading this Niti Aayog. Then came the regional council. So governing council was these people. Then came regional councils, which said they addressed specific issues and contingencies impacting more than one state or region. So it was not just one state or region which was impacted, but if there were multiple states, like suppose it is a river issue, a river is flowing from Maharashtra to Karnataka, let's say. So Maharashtra and Karnataka, both of these states would be affected by a decision, let's say, of constructing a dam on that river. So constructing a dam, should it be allowed, should it not be allowed? So all these things would come under what is the regional council. So where problems or where questions are connected to more than one state or union territory, the regional council would take decisions. Then there would be special invites also. These would be the ones who would be experts from different fields. So main supervision, main activity would be done by the chief ministers and governors, and there would be the regional councils, right? And if at all you need more help and expertise from different fields, which of course is required, they would invite these people as you can say an advisory board or advisory committee or whatever in that case, which would be connected to what we call as special invitees. And these special invitees, to be noted, very important, would be only appointed by the Prime Minister. So Prime Minister would have the understanding and would have the rights to decide who would be the expert from a particular field who would guide this particular council. Now, what is the organizational framework? Like, suppose if you're talking of voting, decision making, how is this particular NITI Aayog constructed? NITI Aayog would have the head of this NITI Aayog would be the Prime Minister, okay, chief person or the chairperson. Second is the vice chairperson to be appointed again by now who? Prime Minister. So Prime Minister only will decide who would be the vice chairperson, and they will consist of 5 full-time members and 2 part-time members. So total 7 members as vice chairpersons, but they too would be appointed by the Prime Minister. Ex officio members, maximum 4 members would be there of the Union Council, who would be the ministers to be nominated by again the Prime Minister. Chief Executive Officer to be appointed again by Prime Minister for fixed tenure in the rank of Secretary of Government of India. And Secretariat would be as deemed necessary. Okay. So organizational framework, if you see, the full control of this organizational framework was put forth to the Prime Minister. Now, what were the functions of this particular NITI Aayog? NITI Aayog focused on one thing, is shared national agenda. So whatever is beneficial for the country, this would be discussed, talked on and decided in the NITI Aayog. So state's best friend, why was the NITI Aayog called as the state's best friend, is because whatever the problems were faced by the states, they would put forth to the NITI Aayog, and then with discussions and talks, they would actually decide on how this problem is to be addressed and solved. Then the NITI Aayog said that we will follow decentralized planning. That means it would go reverse from the village level to the center level. The planning would be decided on and done accordingly. So restructuring of the model from bottom top was done. So in the NITI Aayog, the next important thing what was happening was research and innovation hub. They said that okay, NITI Aayog would serve as the research and innovation hub, where experts would be there, where people would be there, who would be the guiding factors. The next important thing what NITI Aayog would be doing is monitoring and evaluation. We have seen even in the Economic Planning Commission, they had all these strategies formed, where one of the strategy and one of the important thing that they would do is to keep a check, right? Evaluate the performance and understand where things are going wrong. So this is exactly what the NITI Aayog also was doing. Identification of bottlenecks, any kind of issues, problems, they would be addressed accordingly. Now, since this particular organization was constructed on the basis of Prime Minister and all the chief ministers, governors of states and union territories, what was expected is that they would have a very cooperative kind of an attitude in the functioning. The functions that the NITI Aayog performed was connected to technological advancement and inter-consultancy. That means maybe different states would act as consultants for other states, whatever the case may be. Somebody has a problem, another has a solution, they would discuss it, right? Then technological upgradation, as we saw, and finally conflict resolution. So if at all within states there is some conflict, within some regions there is some conflict, within in the state itself, within some districts there is a conflict, then resolution of conflict and how it can be done would be uh, actually put forth in the NITI Aayog. Now take a look at the comparison between the Planning Commission and the NITI Aayog. If you see the common factors, there were many things which were also, some alterations were done. So if you see the Planning Commission, it was established on 15th March 1950. NITI Aayog was established when? In the year 1st January 2050. Planning Commission enjoyed the powers to allocate funds to ministry and state governments. Now, NITI Aayog is an advisory body or a think tank which performs the function of allocation of funds. So it's similar. Role of states was restricted to the National Development Council and annual interaction plan during the plan meetings. State governments in NITI Aayog were expected to play a more significant role. So, in the Planning Commission, there was a restriction of the role of states to the National Development Council and annual interactions. Okay, but here states were expected to perform more significant role because every state's chief minister, every union territory's governor was in the primary council of this particular organization. In Planning Commission's case, there was no provision for part-time members. But in case of NITI Aayog, there were a number of part-time members depending on the need from time to time. Planning Commission had a chairperson, a member secretary, and some full-time members. Whereas in NITI Aayog, it comprised of chairman, vice chairman, full-time members, part-time members, ex-officio members, and CEO of secretary rank. Okay, so this was the difference in the composition of these two organizations or commissions. And the last one is Planning Commission framed policies for states and tied the allocation of funds with approval of project. Whereas NITI Aayog became only a think tank and it did not give any powers to frame policies. So these were the basic distinctions that were there in the case of the Planning Commission and in the case of NITI Aayog. So hopefully this part of your economics journey is clear now to you, how economic planning takes place in India. So we are at the end of this particular course, and hopefully you have understood the basics of economics. The basic understanding is got in terms of economics. There are few more courses also which I've already put on this particular platform, so you can actually use these resources for the purpose of clearing and clarifying your basic understandings. Like we have basics of accountancy, financial management, we have working capital management, we have financial ratios, and understanding the with the help of ratios how financial statements are evaluated and analyzed. Okay, so these are the various courses which I've already put up. You can take the advantage of those courses also. So hope you enjoyed this course. And you got a basic understanding of economics, and this will help you in your journey ahead in understanding advanced economics, which in fact we will also be putting up on this platform in the later time periods. So hope to see you in the further courses which I will be putting up. So do put up your reviews and ratings. That will be of great help to me. Thank you so much.